You've seen it. Your dog is asleep on the floor. A paw starts to paddle. The lip pulls back over a tooth and lets out a sound that's almost a bark, but not quite. The eyes are closed, but underneath the lids, they're moving. Fast, like they're tracking something across a field that isn't there. You say it out loud, the thing everyone says. He's dreaming. You say it as a joke, a soft throwaway line. You don't actually mean a brain in there is running a film. It's just a cute noise the dog makes. For most of human history, that was the whole story. Animals twitch in their sleep, we smile, we move on. Nobody could open the skull and check, so the question sat there, unanswerable, in the same drawer as, what does my cat actually think of me? A nice thing to wonder about at the end of the day, and nothing more. Then a man at MIT decided to actually check. His name is Matthew Wilson. In 2001, with a colleague named Kenway Louie, he published a study in the journal Neuron that did something that still sounds like science fiction when you say it plainly. He read a sleeping animal's mind, and he could tell you where it was. Here's what they did. They had rats run a maze. Nothing exotic. A track with turns, a little food at the end, the kind of thing a rat will do all day. But while the rats ran, Wilson was listening to their brains, specifically to the hippocampus, the region we know handles memory and a sense of place. Inside it, there are cells that fire when an animal is in a particular spot. One cell for the corner, another for the long straightaway. As a rat runs a maze, its brain plays a specific sequence of these cells. A fingerprint of the route. A song, basically, where each note is a place. So Wilson recorded the song while the rats were awake and running. Then he waited for them to fall asleep, and he kept listening. And the song came back, not garbled, not random. The same cells firing in the same order, while the animal lay there with its eyes shut. The rat was running the maze again, in its sleep. And the match was tight enough that Wilson could look at the firing and reconstruct it, where in the maze the rat was at that moment in the dream, and even whether, in the dream, it was running or sitting still. Let that sit for a second. We didn't just confirm the rat was dreaming. We read the content. We knew the subject of the dream. It was the maze. It was the day the rat had actually had. Roughly half of the REM sleep episodes they looked at, out of more than 40, replayed that maze signature, and it ran at close to real speed. The dream took about as long as the run had taken. The animal wasn't fast-forwarding through a highlight reel. It was living the thing again, in something close to actual time. So the cute joke had a spine in it the whole time. The dog isn't making a noise. The dog is somewhere. Now the obvious thought is, fine, rats, mazes, that's a lab trick. Maybe it's just a quirk of one rodent in one box. It isn't. Once people knew what to look for, they kept finding it, and they kept finding it further and further from us, on the tree of life. Wilson's own lab pushed it. Within a couple of years, they showed the replay wasn't only in REM. It happened in deep, dreamless, slow-wave sleep, too. Later work, in Nature, found something stranger. When an animal pauses, awake, the brain sometimes replays a route in reverse, running the film backward from the goal. So this isn't a single fragile result from 2001. It's a finding that got poked, repeated, and pushed for years, and it held. Then it left the rodents entirely. Songbirds came next. There's a long line of work associated with the researcher Daniel Margoliouth on zebra finches, little birds that have to learn their song the way a kid learns to talk. The finding is that at night, the same brain circuits the bird uses to sing appear to fire again in patterns that look like the song. The bird, asleep, seems to be running through its music, practicing in the dark for a performance the next morning. I want to be careful here. The honest framing is consistent with rehearsing, not we have proof the bird is dreaming its song, but the pattern is there. Pigeons, studied at the Max Planck Institute, show bursts of sleep activity in the brain regions tied to flight and vision, as if, somewhere in there, they're moving through the air. And then there's the octopus, which is where it stops being cute and starts being genuinely strange. In 2021, researchers, Ribeiro, Medeiros, and colleagues documented something in sleeping octopuses. The animal cycles through a quiet sleep, and then, every so often, it tips into a state they called active sleep. For about 40 seconds, the skin goes wild. Colors and patterns ripple across it, changing, flickering. The same display an octopus makes while awake and reacting to the world. Then it subsides, and the quiet sleep returns. The cycle repeats. They've described it as analogous to our REM. Sit with how far that is from a dog. An octopus split from our lineage something like 500 million years ago. Its brain is distributed down its arms. By any reasonable measure, its mind is one of the most alien things on this planet. And it, too, seems to drop into a state where the day flickers back across its body in the dark. Whatever this is, it is older and wider than us. It is not a dog thing or a mammal thing. It keeps showing up wherever we look. So here's where this leaves us, and here's the part I'd actually ask you about. If your pet is replaying its day while it sleeps, running the maze of its own life back through its head, what do you think fills most of it? Be honest about how much of that might be you. Drop it in the comments. I read them. Because notice what we've quietly done. We started with, do animals dream, which sounds soft and unanswerable, and we've arrived somewhere with actual evidence under it. The reframe is this. Maybe a dream was never a mystical thing at all. Maybe it's maintenance. The brain takes a messy, chaotic day, the maze, the song, the hunt, and at night it runs it back, sorts it, files it, decides what to keep. Practice. Bookkeeping, the unglamorous work of turning a day you had into a memory you own. Your dog isn't having visions. It's becoming itself, one replayed afternoon at a time. But I have to stop and be honest about a wall here, because the wall is the most important part. We can read the content of that rat stream only because we built the maze. We know the map, so we can match the firing to a place. What we cannot do, what we have no instrument for, is get inside and feel it. We know the rat is running the maze in its sleep. We do not know if it feels like anything to be that rat. The philosopher Thomas Nagel put this years ago as a simple, unanswerable question. What is it like to be a bat? You can know everything about the brain and still not know the experience from the inside. We read the pattern, we don't get the feeling. That door stays shut, and pretending otherwise is exactly the kind of overreach the real science doesn't need. But the pattern alone tells us something quietly enormous. If a dream is built from what mattered during the day, if the rat dreams the maze because the maze was its entire world that day, then the content of a dream is a confession. It's a window into what the animal actually cares about. A dream isn't decoration, it's a ranked list of what was important enough to replay. And that's where this turns back on you. Think about what fills a dog's day, the geography of it, the waiting by the door, the sound of one specific car. A dog's whole life is largely organized around one strange, loud, beloved animal that comes and goes, us. We are the maze. We are the recurring event the day keeps circling back to. We can't prove the next step. We may never be able to. We can read that a rat ran a maze. We cannot yet pull a face or a voice out of the replay. The instruments aren't there, and they may never be. But we know one half of it for certain. We dream about them all the time. We lose them and they come back in our sleep whole for a few seconds before we wake up. That part isn't in doubt. The other half is the open door. If dreams really are made of whatever mattered most, then somewhere in that twitching, paddling sleep on the floor, it is at least possible that we're in there. Running through their night the way the maze ran through the rats. If that lands for you, subscribe. This channel is mostly me chasing the line between what we can prove and what we only get to wonder about, and this is exactly that line. We know we dream about them. We can't yet prove they dream about us. So I'll leave it where the science honestly leaves it, which is with you, watching a paw twitch against the floor, not knowing, but for the first time, with a real reason to wonder which way it goes.